I hate schedules. I really hate schedules. I'm not even big on routines either. So today, let's talk about them. There's a comment that a viewer made on one of my schedule videos last week, and then a couple other videos that I've watched recently about planning and your schedules and such that just kind of got me thinking about this video as one that I wanted to create. I kind of just want to talk about my love-hate relationship with schedules. If I listened to like my natural way of doing things, we would not have any kind of schedules. I wouldn't really have routines either. Every fiber of my being kind of rebels against them. But we wouldn't get much book work done. Now, because I am the way I am, I wouldn't be a good unschooler either. So I wouldn't get just like natural learning done either. When I share our schedules, and if you haven't watched my schedule videos, the playlist will be linked below. When I do them, I share them after the year. So, like the summer, I shared the schedules that worked for us last school year, and I do that because I know that things will change, and I want to share with you what works. And so the schedules that I share are really more, I would say they're more routines rather than being dictated by a time crunch. When I give a specific block of time that we do a subject, it's just that's what it developed into. Like, I found how much time it took us and what order we kind of did things. So it's really much more routine with times than a schedule. When the kids were younger, we were very loosey-goosey. Like when they were, before they were even, when they were still preschool type age, we were super loosey-goosey. And then as Elizabeth got into school, we were still loosey-goosey, but things got a little more dictated just because we would try to do things around sleep nap schedules. So that played into things. And I could get to the point, though, where I was saying that we were possibly headed to a really bad place with loosey-goosiness. Because, honest moment, I would get caught up on the computer or such, and so then I wouldn't notice what time it was, or they would be watching a show and ask to watch another episode of Dora or something, and I'd be like, oh, whatever. And so I realized that we were going to have some set times because I wasn't disciplined enough otherwise. That's the honest truth. I'm not disciplined enough to conduct our days without it. But we started out with just like a start time and an end time. And what happened between those would just vary depending on Elizabeth's work, her attitude, like what she was catching on easily, what things we're struggling with. We just had start and end times. And that was it. And that worked well for us for several years. But as they got older, and then my boys came into our school days, and her workload increased, especially as we neared middle school, it just wasn't working anymore. I had to get more structured. There were days when a lot of one subject would get done, and then we would do that over and over, and then we would end up really behind on other things. And yes, behind, I know you're never really behind in homeschool, but you are. I mean, you can be, absolutely. And I needed to be better about it. So we had to get more structured. And thinking long term, the way we were doing our days wasn't going to be conducive for meeting the goals that we have for our children for long term. And I didn't want to be the cause of that. I mean, this is my job to homeschool my kids, and if I'm not doing what needs to be done to meet a long-term goal, then I need to reevaluate things and I need to change things. You know, if you were in a job outside the home and there was a 10-year long project that you were working on, and years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are going by and you're not doing the things that need to be done in order for years 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to be successful, and you're not doing your job well, and you may not get to keep your job if you don't make the changes. So that's how I view this for us. All that to say, when you have a schedule or routine or whatever you have, do what works for your family. Do not feel pressured to have something else. When my kids were little, the loosey-goosey stuff worked fine. And I saw all these schedules that people put up, and so detailed and heavy. And at times I felt like I was failing as a homeschool parent because I wasn't doing those. Well, that's not the truth. The truth is that if that's what worked for them, great. But that wouldn't have worked for us. But as they got older, what we were doing wasn't going to keep working for us. If my kids were naturally more, motivated, I guess, by schoolwork, I'm not sure what the right word is, naturally studious, then I probably wouldn't need to have such a strict structure because they would kind of pick up where I didn't, type of thing. Or, in my super ideal world, we would be unschoolers. I think it's a great, at least in the elementary years, I think it's a great way to do things. But I'm not good about setting up an environment, a strong unschooling environment, to do it the way I think it should be done for our goals. I can make the great plans, but implementing it, I don't have the follows. I'm great at making. If you ever need big plans made, I'm your girl. But you're gonna have to find someone else to help implement them because that's not where that's not my strong suit. I know that I need to have more of a schedule because that's what's going to make sure that our days and our years are meeting our needs. And when you have schedules, don't be bound by them. I mean, I would say that's probably one of my biggest tips that I would give to new homeschooling parents is let a schedule guide you, but don't let it dictate your entire homeschool existence. Things come up that need to change. You can't always skip what you have, your bookwork, in favor of going to meet with friends, especially as the kids get older. But when you can, do it. Forget about your schedule. Some days, one subject is going to take more time than another. Allow that to happen. You don't have to be stuck with the schedule. So that's my tip. My point number 2. Make a schedule that works for you and your kids. Number 2, don't let that structure don't let it be a burden on you. And number 3, my third point would just be that when I share these videos, remember they developed over many years. I mean, we are starting our 10th year of homeschooling. If I had tried to jump right into a schedule like what we have, it would not work for us. So if you don't have a schedule, if you are new to homeschooling in whatever age, or you aren't new to homeschooling but you're feeling you need to kind of tighten things up, don't try to replicate a schedule like mine or like someone else's. It's not going to work. You're setting yourself up for failure. I think I talked about this in another video about 5 tips for setting up a schedule, developing a schedule, I will find it and I will link it. I think it might be in my schedule playlist. Anyway, don't try to do that. Not only are you setting yourself up for failure, I mean, maybe not, maybe you know what, if you're the type who doesn't have a schedule, trying to jump into someone else's schedule is setting yourself up for failure. Because if you're the type who can follow a schedule well, you already have one, most likely. I mean, yeah. Anyway, just know that my schedule now is 10 years work in progress to get us to where it is. It takes a lot of time to figure out what works for your family and what doesn't work, and you got to find what works for you and what will work for your family. So yeah, try out different things, but also just know that what you're going to end up with is going to be uniquely your own, and it should be uniquely your own. If you're someone who naturally doesn't need a routine and your days go great and you're progressing, with your goals and everything, my hat's off to you, because I think you rock. And I wish I could be you. Yeah, I do wish I could be you, because I'm just not. So that's kind of my truth about schedules. I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. But I'm not disciplined enough to do homeschooling. To meet our homeschooling goals if I don't. I don't know. I don't really have a conclusion. That's all I really want to say, is that schedules need to be your own, and they need to be what works for your family, and whatever that looks like, that's what it looks like. Thanks for watching.